Crypto snipers, how the hell are you? Good to be back with you. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. We're looking at, and at what giddy nice times it is indeed. We're looking at the good old BTC. Yes, indeed. First cup gold nugget FCGN. It's a fucking bull. FCGN bull. It is Bitcoin. What a beast. So we came to the assumption quite quickly and quite clearly. Whilst we looked at the Ethereum short, the wrong call, we'd also seen Ethereum BTC. We saw it being downwards. At that point, we thought, wow, so Ethereum's quite flat bottomed. Ethereum's going to go down relative to Bitcoin. What did that mean? And our assumption was an overall contraction as a final contraction before the macro bull, which we've always been, macro bullish. What ended up happening, we were right about the FBTC. It's a Bitcoin dominance, but it's Bitcoin dominance on Bitcoin being the honey badger. In other words, the larger expansion and Bitcoin taking over. So the alt bull resigned and stood down and the Bitcoin bull is in. So that's where we came up and we had to flip and take our view. That's it. Great. Ethereum was not down. Bitcoin is the bull. And in fact, it's first cup gold nugget. In fact, there's not likely to be a down leg of particular significance prior to the break. It's our view that you have in fact already broken. In fact, we have our target, and for those of you that want to know it, the first resting place, and I will say this, it's the first in a new trend, so we'll do a partial close only. We expect overperformance. What pattern are we talking about? Well, let's go up. In fact, stamp is best for this one because we get some history. This is a big continuation pattern. You know, we were the first to say that. You know also that with that we decided that by our theory, HVF method, that this will move substantially and overperform beyond its target. Where is that target? It's just under the 26k mark. You can find out how we do it, how we calculate it, and there will be some judicious trimming, mainly because you might get a little bit of your first serious breath and pullback of any scale at that level in our view. That might allow you to load up a little bit lower down if you drop a couple of thousand, maybe 1,500. But generally for most people, the net is to stay with your Bitcoin denominated longs. So Bitcoin dominance was our call. Once we realized that Ethereum is not going down, it's Bitcoin that's going up, because we could see FBTC. It might be worth just showing that chart. I'm going to come back to this fella in a minute when we go. So FBTC, this will give you some of a view as to why we had the thoughts we did. FBTC for us was showing signs that it was going to pull back. And typically when the alts pull back, it's usually on the basis that there is overall contraction. And we had been waiting. We kind of felt is there one more sell-off to happen before everybody is. Too many people were getting a little bit too flagrantly bull. It was filling up the airs. In the end, they turned out right, largely with their timing. We were macro bull, yes, but we thought, is there one more sell-off? And this was kind of the charting that was created by that. We had, when we went alt long and alt dominance, and we told you this in the beginning of the year, around about March, I think it was, that Ethereum was going to outperform Bitcoin to the 4% level, which is what it's done. Squeeze here, this was the great break. 4% level, you were trading from the 2.5s. That was where that's 2.5. That's your 2.5 level. Up she goes. And you made your 4% level. And in fact, we had an exact $478 target and we just ran through into the 480s for Ethereum. That was an incredible run for us because not only was Bitcoin going up, but Ethereum was going up on top of Bitcoin even quicker. But then we started to have a closer look at what was happening here. Let's drop that time frame one more time. And we saw, look, there's a reversal coming. So that reversal was going to do one of two things. And we chose the wrong one in the end. We thought overall they'll have a little bit of a rest and the alts will rest more so as the higher beta. And in the end, what it turned out is they're going up, but Bitcoin is hoovering up all the money. And that came very shortly after we did that short call. And this is where we're looking here. Over here, this structure there on Ethereum, that turned out an accurate call against BTC. But it was on the basis that, boom, straight after we'd done that short call, PayPal came in, Sailor came in, a whole bunch of money is buying into Bitcoin. And in actual fact, Bitcoin got the hoover up of the proceeds. Now, we warned that Ethereum might in fact round trip to our premium guys, not to go back into Ethereum. And we like Ethereum. We will be, I can see us not too far off or in the future re-rotating into Ethereum. But the key thing is Bitcoin dominance right now. And by watching the big major coins, the largest alts and the largest BTC, we could correct for our error and say, okay, that's what's happening then. First guess was wrong. We're getting an inverted HVF structure here. It performed to target and we're getting overperformance and we're in the overperformance bands. And that's essentially where we are. And the warning I also gave premium, and I'm giving to you now on a much delayed basis, is that this head and shoulders has a target. And many people would have said never up top here when you're at 33. So that number is 33, by the way. Let's just move that a little bit over. The 33 level was your neckline. 40 was your high point. That's 4% of a Bitcoin. That's 3.3% of a Bitcoin. And the original alt call dominance was way back at 2.5. And we said you might go all the way back. You might round trip it because that head and shoulders target is right down here at the 2.5. That looked a long way away when you were up here. And since then, we've been down. Guys in the community were getting a bit itchy to get long Ethereum again. No, wait for it. And we have a real reason when Ethereum has shown us when it's turned. And you'll have to learn that for yourself or come on board and find out how and why we do the draws we do. But there will come a turn and then we will reweight. But now it's all about Bitcoin dominance. And most of our guys are 65 and upwards percent Bitcoin long, which means they're getting the bulk of the benefit, while a lot of people are still sitting in shitcoins and major alts and links and various others of the world. Just to highlight that, I did the last week, and it was very much the same the week before. I did the last week, 7 days here. Let's bring this into view and how it's performed. And you can see last 7 days, it's actually gone up since then. I did this snapshot at the middle of the day. The rest of the afternoon has gone even higher. But Bitcoin was 10% at the point of this shoot. This is your top 12. 2 are stable coins. We're not interested in them. They do their job and they're not for appreciating or depreciating if they're doing their job. 10% up Bitcoin, less than 3 1/3 for Ethereum. All the others actually negative. SV down 9.76. Polkadot 6.5, 5.8 Cardano, 9.8 Binance Coin, 11% chain. A lot of guys sitting in chain. They could have been getting 10% the other way. They're giving up over 10%, 8.8% cash. Ripple also losing money over the 7 day. Now that's slightly tweaked. This might be up around 4. This is significantly higher. We can have a quick look, in fact. It's now 12 and Ethereum's a little bit up. But take out the stable coins, you've still got reds. How terrible does it feel that you're making minus 8.5% here in Binance Coin, minus 6.7 in cash, minus 6.6 in Link, and Bitcoin's going double that to the positive side, 12%. So dominance is the theme here, and that's why you need a heavy weighting. Could justifiably, if you've got, say, one Bitcoin's total net worth in there, you should be 100% Bitcoin, largely. A small amount of diversification, mainly because of cost of rotating coins and a couple of favorite projects that'll come around, and most of it being in Ethereum, which will turn and will reweight heavily and potentially go all the way 50-60% Ethereum, and Bitcoin coming down once that turn confirms. But for now, it's a Bitcoin dominance trade, and it's a Bitcoin dominance move. So let's go back to BTC as we were. What a nice move the last few days. Let's take a stamp back to the big time frame and carry on where I was before I pivoted away. In fact, we'll go 3 days. Just about gets this macro in nicely. So we highlighted and we told you not long after the ETH call that, okay, we've got it now. This is absolutely outperforming relative not only to the dollar, which is going to get super weak as the child sniffer comes into power and starts his little modern monetary theory experiment, which is going to see an undue amount of dollar weakness, printing, bailing out, paying money to democratic states to fix all that's been rioted. Wow, the whole left agenda is all about proliferation. UBI on-ramp is being brought forward. So everything I discuss in Reset Sniper, in terms of the leftist, socialist, communistic agenda, is going to be accelerated on the basis that the child sniffer is getting in. Neither work for you. I'm not a fan of neither, but this guy will do a lot of printing. Now, you might have a Republican House or Senate, as they say. I don't know the difference really between the two. Someone will explain it. But that kind of, what's the word, is a bit of a concrete block around his leg with a lot of what he wants to do. But they're going to go print. They are going to go print. The dollar is going to be the sacrificial lamb here. Go and watch your USD JPY against the yen and see how you've got a descending triangle. We've got even more than that out of that and going to be falling down. You'll also understand why in our premium community we've pivoted into the euro try on shorting the try and going long. The euro will get quite a bit of benefit out of the dollar weakness. Not that it deserves it. That will all pivot and rotate. All fiats are crap, particularly the Turkish lira at the moment. But we're also watching the fear index. That's the USD JPY. That's what you get with us, the 360 view. But anyway, if you remember, I divided this by the NASDAQ and I showed you that in actual fact, you are in a breakout even against the stinky stoinks, which are the tech stocks that are hyper overvalued but are likely to go up as well. So you're going to have a risk on environment where the damage to the dollar is going to be great and the tech stocks and other stocks are all going to inflate. This is hyperinflation. It's not hyperinflationary, that's over dramatic. That's double-digit inflation. On their stats, you're unlikely ever to register double-digit inflation until it's the end of game. But in truth, we are virtually there on John Williams' stats. But on their fake stats, you're going to have a stagflationary environment. The economy is going to be stuffed. Biden's going to lock the country down. He's going to kill the SMEs. More so than Trump did. There's going to be a lot of draconian enforcement on the COVID side. That's going to be terrible generally for the small businesses that are physical businesses. Those that run pizzerias and restaurants and coffee shops, they're going to get obliterated. It's going to be amazing for Netflix, Amazon, and all the oligarchical mega tech online virtual based companies. So you expect those stocks to soar. But we divided Bitcoin by that index, and I chose the strongest that we could find there, and that was NASDAQ index, which we actually think will be substantially bullish. And still, we got a really powerful structure of upside break here. And you can see how it's performing even against the very bullish stock market of mainly tech stocks, weighted towards the likes of Amazon, Apple and Microsoft. So that's what you're looking at here. So this is going to be the bullish market, Bitcoin, during this period. And it's not crypto, it's Bitcoin specific. The rest will stay there or thereabouts, but will not be the consistent outperformer. That doesn't mean a coin every now and then doesn't do a bigger percentage. Remember, in the crypto world, Bitcoin is by far the largest market cap. For it to do a 12% on its 275 billion is not the same as some 2 billion SV or Cardano at 3 doing 12%. So, but it's more about the consistency and what you're doing over the 7-day and even the months that will be the biggest. And that's where the action is going to be consistently. That means you don't have to shuffle around regular exchanges. That makes exchanges rich. If you're using exchanges, it's far better to be buckled up, doing less, but well positioned for what the major move. That right now is Bitcoin. In time, Ethereum, as I say, will turn, and I think it will become an interesting one indeed. So let's just have a look more short term how it's all panned out. This is just Bitcoin now. I've got rid of the divided by NASDAQ. This is log scaled, however. You have taken out that last high. That absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, has confirmed for us that this is a breakout. So there's no argument about what I described on this channel as the first cup gold nugget theory. You have broken. And there was a lovely little squeezy there, and that was the move. And ironically, we got turned back here on that head and shoulders, and it threw a lot of us off the scent that in actual fact it was bull. So when it came here, we thought maybe it'll go down. Who knows? Because it's it's just done a break and it's taken it all back. No, it was a perfect feign trade. It ran the other way, and now it's shown its flag. It just keeps rewarding. You need to stay with it. So what do you do if you're undersized and you want to get in? Well, you have a problem, because essentially you're chasing the market. Now, if you knew where the interim targets were, if you knew where the second interim targets, where you're likely to get some degree of pullback, you could buy on limit orders. Avoid chases, avoid market orders. Has it done anything that pertains to a parabolic move yet? No, there is a lot more to come. Remember, when it comes to this pattern, we are, in truth, the super bulls. We just questioned if everyone was not just ruling out the other four cups a little bit too quickly. As it turned out, they were spot on. And the election result, which to me is a surprise. I'm wrong on that as well, by the way. I'll say hand on heart, I thought they were going to give it to the big orangutan orange man bad, because he's done so much for the Zionist Israeli project, etc., whilst everyone talking about him being such a terrible man, and you'd provoke the leftists and we'd have all our civil unrest. That might still happen, who knows. He may refuse to leave. There might be legal challenges, maybe even wins one with a conservative judge, just to wind the leftists up, and then they'll go flipping restaurant tables over again. We don't know. But at the moment, you have to say it's looking like Biden's going to probably be deemed the winner. And at some point will have to be let into the White House. That geriatric climbing those stairs with his mask on and holding that car door. It's going to be hysterical. The man can't even talk, and he's got such fake teeth. I just love to hate them all, because politicians are absolute dishonest, deception agents of state. But never mind. What about building your wealth right now? Bitcoin dominance, and this has not yet begun to fight. I want to remind you how strong those moves were in the last leg. Look at these. With pullbacks most of the way, even small one there, and real blow off. We have not had anything yet that resembles that level of blow off. An indicator you can jump on and use, free tip from me, is the historical volatility. You can throw that on and see. COVID-19 was exceptional. COVID-19, oh, what a scam. Was exceptional over there, but you can see that aside, if I just eliminate that particular period and just broaden this, that was your 120 blow off. That was so far. Bitcoin lost 65% within 2 weeks. That was really, really big. By the way, don't forget to keep an eye out. We hope to have the Richard Hart chat available back end, maybe tomorrow, maybe in an early part next week. Big edit. We ended up having a very long chat. It was good fun. Check it out when it gets released. Make sure, by the way, when you hit the bell, you have to say always. People are being unsubbed if you leave it discretional. YouTube wants to leave it discretional so that they can show you what you want to see. This channel is not well liked. We do not monetize. And as a result, they'd rather show you something with ads. Hit the bell and hit always notify. That way you do not give them any wiggle room if you want to make sure you don't miss that. So that was an outlier. COVID was just ridiculous. But we're right back down to quite low volatility. So this up move is on very low volatility. It's consistently and steadily marching up. This has got a real parabola in it. Note this is log scale, by the way. That's why 25K doesn't look so far off. On a regular scale, you can see that 25K is some way off. We're talking that you'll run the 26K. We have ideas where we expect a small rest. What do you do if you want to get in larger? You be very damn careful, and preferably don't use leverage, because you'll get killed if it gets a little bit choppy. That said, I don't actually expect it to be too choppy. We're doing what we're calling staircasing up. Any form, and this is why we don't trade reversals, particularly when it's a macro bull. So whenever it's a macro bull like this, ignore the idea of the notion, now that it's established, of ever going short on Bitcoin. Because almost all moves to the side resolve upside. For example, you might have looked at that and thought, hang on, that's a left shoulder, a head and a right shoulder, and that's my little head and shoulder, only for it to go super low vol and then to go wow, wow, wow and up. This was a bit of a broadening structure. Normally for us, that also is hammering out a high. That's just a bit of an election uncertainty. In these times, all you do is net long. So when the super macro is bull, many guys go, oh, technical analysis doesn't work when it's a bull market. No, it always works. Your macros override the short time frames. I've just shown you the macro structure, which is expected to overperform, is going to be strongly bullish and has only very low volatility at that point. That means it's going to consistently and mainly go up without too many big swings. That just means any resting period, which areas like this are, and this kind of was, although you were consistently making higher lows, even on the downswings, and higher highs, should be treated as continuation. You will learn that from us if you want to learn and join our community about building wealth. And trust me, these are reset times. So many people ask me, when's reset? This is reset. There is no 1 minute, second, day that is reset. It's a process over a long period where different shoes are dropping all the time. You're busy watching it. A building doesn't collapse in a 1 nanosecond. The explosions happen, the floors start sinking, then there's a collapse, then there's a slab, and then it drops. It's a process, and you're watching a slow motion. This is like Inception, the movie, with a car that's off the bridge and falling into the water, and you're dropping down time frames that every second is a year, and you're watching this car crash in slow motion, guys. So reset is happening. The car crashed over the bridge long ago, probably in .com era. It accelerated its fall in subprime. And even everything was going wrong prior to .com. It was swerving on the bridge and about to go over. This is it. It's broken off the bridge. The only thing it can do is crash. It's in the air, heading to the water, like in the movie. There's no sudden wings flying straightened up and back on the highway, nice orderly driving perfectly on a straight line. This is the end. They have their plans for that day, which they will be bringing. And part of this is how it's why it's so important that you have to trade this right. So in the end, this structure that we'd seen, and our mistake was we should have given more priority to the God market, ended up being breaking to the upside. That was good. And since then, all these lows, as we've been highlighting in our community, is bias bull, nibble the lows, bias bull, nibble the lows, bias bull, nibble the lows. And you kept getting chances. You got many a chance. In fact, there's another one in there. You had 4 or 5 chances during this period, and that came a second visit like that. You just have to bias bullish. It's not easy, especially when something's coming down and you're trading to the level. You go, maybe it's all over now. Maybe it's all over. It ain't over. It ain't over. It's just started. Yep, but I'm not going to be the guy that throws out 1 million or 250,000. Target is just under 26K. And then you'll get overperformance. We have overperformance bands, and when it breaks out of those, we know how to behave. If it breaks out the lower side, we close. If it breaks out the higher side, we know we're going into the parabolic phase, and we hold until it comes back down. So that's kind of what how we'll be playing it. So we don't have a number for that. It's kind of like asking how long is a piece of string. Everyone else is just trying to throw out the biggest number, and it's a bit of a pissing contest. Not interested in being part of that. Once we have new prints and footprints in the ground, we'll create new geometry for future upside patterns, and we'll take it as it goes. You see, sometimes visibility only allows you to have a probability-based assessment for the next 2 steps on the staircase in front of you. You don't get to see that you're actually walking the wall of China right the way to the end line, and you can see the end line and go, okay, that's where I need to be. Sometimes you just see X amount in front of you, and that's all you should be happy with. Play that right and recognize this is a macro bull. You bias long most incidences. Any pullback, look for it to start showing some form of bottoming and grab and climb in with anything you have. If you use leverage, be prepared to be killed. Do so, if you do determine to do so anyway, exceedingly judiciously. At some point, the volatility will increase, but for now it's very low, so I don't see massive swings happening like that. just yet, but there will be a period where it will come and it will start to increase in volatility. Okay, so this is all very good. It's all very bullish. Crypto. Nice. And most of it's about Bitcoin. So what does the Bitcoin dominance chart look like if we have a look at it? Climbing. We're on the 4 hour, on the daily, climbing. And by the way, we called to the 73%, the top of that. We had a target for that. If I switch the lights back on, you can see falling wedge, broadening, down, continuation channel. All this period, we were alts biased. Then you got this big test here, alts versus Bitcoin, and it's all been about the Bitcoin now. It's all been about the Bitcoin. I can't tell you if it's going to 73. We don't have a target for that. We've already made this inverted head and shoulders target here on the Bitcoin dominance, and it's pressing on. It's just gap filled over there. I don't know if that's good data really, or whether it's just a gap due to, who knows. This is calculated by a TradingView setup, so don't marry what you get on manipulated data, but it's good guidance. It's good guidance. Okay, so bias to bull. There will come a time to rotate. It ain't now. Be largely Bitcoin. And it should be superior to almost all other assets, including gold and silver, including tech stocks. Although I'm going to expect good moves in those as well. You might get some miners on gold and silver that might have moments where they outperform Bitcoin. But that's a different game for the traditional market. This is the crypto sniper. It's all about being long Bitcoin. So if this is all you get from this video, your bias should be Bitcoin, and that moment for alt rotation is not here. In fact, it's quite a new Bitcoin dominance. I'd argue that came from the 21st of October, and we're only the 5th of November. It's been about 2 weeks. By the way, your top outs period was way back in September, and we started to call the beginning of the year only, December going into Jan, that you want to be alt bias. And then this was a big period. We reasserted that over this period, and you fell out of this. This was very steep descent. A large part of that alt dominance came here, and this was during the period that particularly Ethereum, yes, Link had its run, Telos, but ADA was one of the first also, by the way. It started to move real early and it made us have a look at it again. But this is about Bitcoin. Okay, so that's the message you've got. Bitcoin dominance. What might happen, it could be possible, given our target is in and around the 26K, when it rests there, it's possible that we might get an inflection point and the alts start to do a little bit better generally there. You can see Ethereum not met its previous high of 478. Let's just show you this as part and parcel of all of this. Again, Binance is not the one to have it lacks the history. You can have a look at that. This is such a layer of support. That's why, again, by the way, we thought that little pink squeezy was a wind up to get through the legacy funnel. This was such a huge setup, he says, for 3 times. Way back in 17. Don't forget, every ICO was listing on the ERC20 Ethereum network, and those breaks, boom. Every ICO jumping into Ethereum. This caused the super bull in Ethereum that saw it absolutely smash it. And then, of course, it had a super bear as there was a washout. So when we got north of this key zone here, and we squeezed a little bit, we thought, okay, hang on, are we coming back a little bit for a revisit? Hence why that arrow is still there. That was our view. In the end, it supported and it leaked out to the other side. Not so strongly, because the good old honey badger was taking all that money. So there was that squeeze. It's typical for our structure for downsides, but the God market spoke and the God market was stronger. And it saved, I think, Ethereum from a downside, but Ethereum didn't get the same degree of benefit as it happened. Up she goes. So, yep, we are chastened. We have learned. We recognize where we went wrong there, but we're happy that the bull is here. We're pretty damn happy that it's a first cup gold nugget as well, which is pretty bullish. Ethereum, a little bit of broadening here. It's going to lag a little bit. Could even go up. up, maybe around here, and then when Bitcoin has a rest, it could pull back, could create an amazing wind up, and that could be a great invitation to get back long. But don't forget, this has gone from 4% to a Bitcoin almost back to 2.5. So if it comes around again like this, we'll look for a great setup, and that could be a bit of outperformance for Ethereum coming into play in the event of that. But not too bad. If it runs this high of its own without doing a setup like this, in other words, it trades through 478, that means it's being towed a little bit by Bitcoin. You stay with the Bitcoin until the FBTC chart shows you that it has rotated. And you'll find out when we know that and what level and how it will work in terms of our overperformance when that moment comes. Okay, guys, that's a really simple message. I've got a lot more I could say, but I want to keep the message simple. I want to keep this short. If you want to join our community, you can see here where we were day for day recounting all of this. Very WhatsApp type based functionality and setups, etc. And the learning environment with all the videos. We spent quite a bit on getting that right. Just click the links below, and also grab the mini series if you've not got much beans, and bias to Bitcoin to build your wealth. Bias to Bitcoin to build your wealth. You can wait until we go public on our view that we flip to alts on that, but I think this could be longer than many people think. First choice for the many will in fact be Bitcoin. Look at that busy chart. Beautiful it is, but it is also having a little bit of pushback down to the 1490 level. No bad thing given that, but overall the dollar, she's in big trouble. The uncertainty of the election, if Trump plays hardball and tries to squat in the White House, it could be fun. And Biden, where we'll wait and see until that whole rigmarole is sorted out. Uncertainty will be bad for the dollar, and Biden being confirmed will be bad for the dollar. If you got a full Democrat House and Senate, that would be doubly bad for the dollar, because the whole AOC, Cortez and all of these basically communists dressed up as socialists are going to kill the currency. And it's going to be an acceleration. Great if you're in Bitcoin. Great if you're in gold and silver. Great if you're in equities. For the many peasants, that will be, and I say that we're all peasants to the insider class, that's going to be very destructive, because you're going to need more and more dollars for that loaf of bread, that McDonald's and everything else that they consume. Bye for now. Tweet and share. We really value shares. We don't monetize. There's nothing in it for us on the video for free view. It's only for that 1 or 2% that is really serious. Recognize it's a probability game. It's quite good that we were publicly wrong in a way. It's quite clear. We felt quite high conviction. We were wrong. We understand where we were wrong. It's a probability game. You will often be wrong. It's how you react and whether you let it do outsized damage to you, and how quickly you pivot to exploit the situation in your favor later. Bitcoin has done me a great favor now. It's doing a lot of favors to a lot of people right now that are in the long side. And will you get that inflection? Because these multiples change how much you make by so much. And we will look at the top 10, even the top 13s. I like Monero a little bit. I'll mention it. I think there's a great use case for privacy. There will even be a case where we'll be able to determine when each of those individual coins pivot, and that could lead to a much bigger multiple on the upside. Remember, for Bitcoin to do a doubler from here, it has to go to 28, it's on 15,000, has to go to 30,000 grand to do a 2x. There's a lot of coins that have got 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x in them once the alt run starts. But you don't want to be involved in absolute crap either. You need to see the money coming in. We'll be there doing it. And in the meantime, we'll take what Bitcoin's offering us, and we'll take small little nibbles of judicious leverage, have a few small leverage positions that were gathered along these lows. And that's how you can maximize and hold. And you will get chances as well as this cools off a little bit. Okay, that's it. Thank you for sharing. We'll catch you next time. I'm the Crypto Sniper, giving you a heads up and a wave. Bye for now.